And we're live.
Welcome everyone, this is Pine Leaf Needles, and you are listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO, and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Andang,
Hey, everybody.
Atheros,
Hi.
Draculetta,
Hey, everybody.
Sithrith,
Hello.
and our special guest this week is DJ Pimp Daddy.
Tonight I'll actually be going by my alt, Braxwood.
All right. Yes. Brax is not here this week so that he could come as his as his main DJ Pimp Daddy. And I guess our first question this week is, where did you get a name like that?
Man, I actually used to be in a parody hip hop band about 7 years ago, and we performed. It was I literally imagined two white guys doing bad rap music, and we kept getting paid for all these stupid gigs to go up there and make idiots of ourselves. And so my stage name was DJ Pimp Daddy because I was like the MC. So yeah, and then I mean, once you get such a fantastic name like that in Gmail, you just can't get rid of it. So
I guess that is true. Very well. Now, could you tell us how you left rap and got started in pro and in our gaming community?
well, the long story, summed up really short, is that I started my gaming way back in like the Magnavox Coleco days, but I truly got into gaming with the Nintendo, and then of course all the way through the Nintendo 64 days. Gaming on computers, my parents actually purchased a TI-99 4A home computer back in the day. Taught myself how to make games in BASIC. It was pretty crude. Let me tell you that. And then I think my crowning achievement was my father and I on the Texas Instrument. We actually beat the text version of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. If anybody could remember that.
Oh yeah, yes, I remember that.
Oh yeah. Well, we didn't beat
Without
it. We
any
got to
hits?
we got to the very end of the game, and it like you had to choose a red button or a green button, and we chose the wrong button. Yeah. It was terrifying because I mean like I was like 9, It's like my dad just sitting here reading all this text to us and
Let's see,
letting us
the red
choose
button.
the paths.
I can't remember the red button versus the green button bit. His last bit I remember is trying to find the right piece of equipment for Marvin, and of course you can't do it without seeing into the future. So
Yeah, but I mean that was like so long before like wiki pages and stuff. So
yeah.
there was like no concept of even dial up on a computer that old. So
Yes, you have a point with that. That's I remember Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy quite well.
oh yeah, that was. I found an emulator online. I've been like, man, if I had just enough time, I'd probably replay it. But my parents, one of them was a teacher, so every summer we got to bring home an Apple IIe computer. So yeah, I taught myself a little bit of programming on that. Later, we became a Mac home, so I played a lot of like Might and Magic 2, and then skip further ahead. My first like multiplayer game that I think was almost on par with an MMO for me would have actually been Neverwinter Nights. A friend and I made a persistent world, and we had a 30 server slot, and it was constantly full, like 24 hours a day. So I taught myself to program and script in C, and we just made quests for that all day long. So I have feelings towards the devs when I see all the when they say they put out a new skirmish and there's like one little bug. I'm like, oh, I feel bad for them for that.
All right,
I have done that.
You wrote all that stuff in script?
Yeah, it was a C script. The and that was an amazing experience because between that and running a Minecraft server, it really taught you to go beyond like QA testing. Like you got to the point where you spent you spent all this time putting out something that you're really proud of, like a quest or a quest line or something, and then you immediately see how people exploit it, and you're just like, oh my lord, why didn't we think of that? You know, it's like, we saw this one guy backtrack, and he brought this bone dragon. He actually coaxed it. Like he aggroed it, he coaxed it and carried it all the way across the entire world and left it in the starting town in our server. And I'm like, oh my god, you know, so people would spawn in and there's this bone dragon just wreaking havoc everywhere. And I'm like, oh, I mean, it's stupid things like that you don't think about.
Sort of like the Yavok and the turtle.
Yeah. So I think Minecraft was when I first got into podcasting hardcore. I helped a friend build up This Week in Minecraft. And then, of course, you could listen to Brax's podcast for that whole tale. But later on, when I got into Steam gaming for Late Night Steamer, we did... how I got into LOTRO was we did one episode with a joint show called Geek Culture Happy Hour. We played LOTRO for a month, and then at the end of the month, this was like right when Steam had just released LOTRO on, it's the free-to-play app, At the end of that month, we did an episode where we all talked about the Fellowship of the Rings movie and the Lord of the Rings, and we compared the two in one episode, and it was like 3.5 hours, and it was way too long, and like we were wiped by the time we got done with that episode. And we joked about doing the two towers and keep going, but then it was like, no, that was too much. So, and then everybody else left LOTRO after that, who was on our show, and I just kept playing, and it's been like 3 years now. So I'm only 3 years into LOTRO, and it's pretty much been my only true MMO this entire time, besides some multiplayer games. So
Awesome.
That's the short story.
That's the short story. Yes, and you can hear the long story at your show.
Oh, no. You want the long story? Go listen to Brax's.
Go listen to Brax's version, yes. Which he's too busy recording right now, so I thought you were Brax.
I'm that good.
Yes. You're that good. All right, very well. Let's go into the game news, even though there isn't much, and the most important one was since it was put up by Brax, I guess DJ Pimp Daddy can talk about this story. About the tweet of the mysterious Bjorning-like image.
Oh yeah. They LOTRO, their Twitter feed, they posted this small, tiny, unscalable picture that you can't zoom in on too well, and they got the Bjorning character on one side, and you can see him got it in game on the left screen. But I like when they posted it, I just started tearing the picture apart about everything else that was in the picture except for what was actually on the screen. So that's where I was pointing out like the White Castle cup, the Ecto One in the background, and
the Ecto One was the most important part. I mean,
I know,
Indeed.
So
that's actually, to be honest, that's the first thing I saw. I'm like, they have an Ecto One on the desk. Sweet.
I would have to say though too, the Atlas of Middle Earth is pretty cool that they got that there too. I assume that
that's a very
most of the people
nice
at Turbine
book.
do, but it's a really cool book.
Well, that would be useful if you're making a game on the subject.
Indeed. So assuming that this is the Bjorning, from that image, it does make sense that the Bjorning's their own race, I think, because they definitely look like a lot tougher, more sizable man, probably a lot taller too. So it kind of makes sense that Turbine's making them their own race, even though they are still the race of man type thing.
it almost looks like he's holding a 357 Magnum in his right hand if you look at it close enough.
If you scroll down in the article,
I guess I thought it was a pick of some sort.
it does look more like a pick. If you scroll down the article, it looks like he has a hat and a pick, or an axe and a pick. and also a hat. But
That's because he couldn't find a pickaxe, so he had to get one of each.
apparently.
Really, Pine Leaf, really.
I don't know. It's possible. Actually, it looks like that top part of that's a cuff, so it looks like he's actually dual wielding axes, which is pretty cool. So he'd be like a berserker type person.
Well, I mean, technically you can do that with hunters and champions, right?
You can, but not with like a bulky type character like that.
I guess.
I don't know. It's interesting. You know, there's not too much that we can get from these images, but it is good to know that they are at least teasing something about the Bjorning now. I mean, we're only like 1 or 2 months away from the Bjorning being in the game, essentially.
Barnabas in the chat room is saying, so Anding, you're saying he's a fat hunter.
I'm saying he's a very, very muscular, tall hunter.
All right. Now,
He's just
anybody have any?
bare-boned.
Yeah. Anyone have any guesses on what's on the left side?
It looks almost like a Bjorning camp, almost.
I'm guessing it's probably because they said there's a intro-y thing.
Yeah,
so
that's
okay.
my guess, is that it has something to do with the intro, and there's a lot of fire, so I'm guessing that something happened to burn wherever they are. So,
Oh,
Maybe it's a
I can't tell if
Bjorning
it's
skirmish.
fire.
well, there's a lot of smoke. I don't know if
Oh,
it's
there's
actual
smoke, yeah,
stuff
never
on
mind.
fire.
the
Um,
Bjorning version of Archit.
Oh man,
Pretty much.
that would be terrible. I don't think you could rage down out of bear form when your entire Archit city gets burnt to the ground as a Bjorning. I don't know. So anyway, it's interesting. Hopefully we'll see more, so we don't have to do this kind of crazy speculation every week moving forward. But
Well, this is the big news for this week.
How many of you on this call are going to purchase this day one?
I
Still depends on the
probably am.
price.
I think I am.
Yeah,
I still have to see a little bit more, but I think I probably will. At the very least, probably just to. I'm definitely gonna play it in the beta and see if I like it or not, and that'll probably give me the best decision on if I am gonna buy it or not.
I will, depending on price too. It depends.
The
what they
price does
it at.
matter too, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've been more of a. I call myself a hardcore extreme casual. So I'm taking my sweet time through the game. I haven't even purchased Helm's Deep. Speaking of which, is me being on the show like getting me out of that contest? I forgot to ask that, but
Oh, you should
Yeah,
have asked
so,
that
I mean,
before
well, I mean-
the contest, before you came.
darn.
You should have appeared
so-
after the contest rather than before. Yeah.
the whole thought of a purchasing a Bjorning class, I'm like, maybe someday. But like I haven't even done a PvP yet, so it's like I find it exciting that they're still developing the game, but this is so far off my radar that I'm not even gonna. I wasn't nerding out over the text or the tweet.
Well, Bjornings are level 1, so
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of work, but if the class is interesting enough, I think I'll definitely try to level it.
All right.
Okay.
We'll see. I'm sure there's a good chance of there being a Pinely Plays Bjorning.
Probably. Itakles from the chat asks, any thoughts on the price? So I want to go around the table here and have everyone give their prediction price of what they think Turbine will make the price. Not what you want, but what you think Turbine will make the price. And let's start with Sithrith.
Well, based on that, back when Sapiens was still a thing, a person that we talked about. Based on what he said, or maybe it was Rowan. Remember, I think there was maybe it was a Shield run or a Tahiti run, something like that, where he said that like they actually can make it less expensive now because they're starting at level 1, because they were going to charge like the price of a class plus the price of a Gift of the Valar. So that was going to be very expensive. So based on that, saying that they're going to make it less expensive now, I'm going to guess it's going to be between 1,000 and 1,500 turbine points.
Okay. Anybody else have a different prediction?
Well, let's see. Well, mine, I was going to say 1495, but that's
Okay.
within her range. It's on the high end of her range.
That's kind of what I was thinking too.
I'm thinking between 1495 and 1995. Because the two Moria classes had been out for a long time, I could see them saying, well, this is a new class, so we're going to add on an extra 500. I could see that happening.
Well, I mean, the Runekeeper and Warden right now are 795, right?
No, I thought they were I thought they were at least more than back when I bought them, they were 14.95 a piece. I don't know what they are now.
Pretty sure.
Everybody's
they're-
typing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're 795.
Yes,
Okay,
it's
so they
not
have
cheap.
so they did half the price essentially since when the market came up. So
I think for me, it will either be 995 if they're being generous, or
Mhm.
1995.
yeah.
Either one.
I just had a funny thought. Try to picture a Bjorning on like a war goat running through Bree.
Oh no.
In bear
Bear
form.
riding a goat.
Oh, yeah.
That's gonna happen. You know it's gonna happen.
And there's gonna be the little Huron following it around and all that stuff.
Oh, boy. Anyway, well, just in case on that, I have reserved 2,000 points for the Bjorning, so... So if those are
That
on
does
the
not
high
surprise
end,
me in the
right.
slightest, finally, knowing you.
All right, then we'll go on into speaking of purchasing things, store sales. Drac.
Free sample of the week, October 3rd through the 9th, the Relic Removal Scroll. You get one of those per account, so choose wisely with the coupon code SRR98. SRR98. The sale this week is all about PvMP, 25% off the following: monster classes, monster traits, monster skills, and the 100% infamy renown gain. So kind of a sale, I guess, unless you are a premium and you want to do some PvMP, I guess, but I'm not excited about the sale.
It's not an LI sale, so there's that.
It could be worse.
It could be way worse. It could involve epic battles in some form or fashion. So yeah.
The
It could be
day
worse
that
than this.
there's an epic battle sale is the day that Drac probably ends the store sales.
That's right. It's like, I'm done. I'm out.
Well,
Somebody else can do it. I'm out.
Yeah, Why?
Anyways.
You'll just give them down to everything.
Well, this is true. But I kind of do that all the way anyway, so it kind of wouldn't be fun to do it on a store sale post, though.
Oh, well. I suppose.
Epic battles.
All right, let's go to the players' news, and we'll begin with a Helm's Deep Premium Edition giveaway for anyone out there who just loves epic battles.
Or really good story involving Helm's Deep, but
Well, yeah, I guess you could do it for that too.
yeah, basically people still have until October 7th, so a few more days left to enter this contest. All you have to do is leave a comment on the YouTube video to enter. It's very simple, and basically on October 7th the contest will close. I'll choose a winner and they'll have a week to respond, and if they don't, it'll go on to a new winner because I don't want the code to be sitting in somebody's inbox. But yeah, we're getting close to the end of this contest, so if you have not entered yet, be sure to head over there. And once again, even if you just want to surprise a friend with it for Christmas or something like that, feel free to go ahead and enter the contest. It doesn't have to be just for you, so feel free to do that.
All right, very well. And now we ask, what is your favorite added system to LOTRO? And I suspect that Drac is not going to answer epic battle, so
There's a good chance that Drac did not answer epic battles. Basically,
doesn't
in
look like
this
too many people did.
Gee, I wonder why.
In in this week's poll, we did ask people what their favorite system that has been added to the game was, and the top answer, because Sithrath probably campaigned for it, is cosmetics.
Ugh.
In that
I
case,
did
someone
not
must have been
campaign.
campaigning really hard for allies.
This is
Yeah, I
true
don't
because
know.
with 53 votes, there was cosmetics. With 19% of the vote at 34 votes, there was skirmishes. And with 16% of the vote, 30 votes, legendary items.
Wow.
Okay, some masochists out there.
Surprising.
I had to
Although
look
in the
up what
chat,
phasing
Barnabas
was.
says Li is his favorite, so
Mhm.
maybe you can explain why.
Or maybe
this
he was going to talk
week.
about how depressed he was by allies, and so he just couldn't finish the rest of the sentence. We don't know for sure.
You just said Li and then
Exactly. We don't know if he
passed
likes him or not. There's no telling. Uh, with
Yeah, he meant-
But if you
20,
like
Typing
Li's,
are
please
terrible.
explain why to
But
us.
then he pressed enter by accident.
that's possible. You could have accidentally selected the wrong one. You could have been blindfolded and had to select an
Maybe
answer.
maybe he misread favorite and thought it said, what is your least favorite added system to LOTRO?
Barnabas says best on that list. Okay. It'd be nice to know
You
why.
guys didn't have Hobnanigans on this list.
There's good reason
Well,
for
that's
that.
not quite a system.
That's not a
an event.
system.
I mean, if fishing
I mean,
is
it's a system for
Well, hobby is
hobby
a
system. It's just that fishing is the only hobby,
It's
but
a-
it
Yeah,
isn't
I did.
technically
I
a
did
system.
take a liberty by only calling it hobby as kind of a joke because it's not hobbies. There's only one. Come on, Turbine. That did get 2 votes. Epic Battles got 4 votes. Phasing
Why?
got 19 votes, only about 10% of the vote. I was hoping it'd get a little bit more. Mounted Combat also got 10% of the vote with 19 votes, and Housing got 11% with 20 votes. So very close
people in
between
chat are saying
Housing,
they
Mounted
like
Combat, and
LIs.
Phasing.
You guys are
We
crazy.
must be in some kind of crazy minority.
Yeah, I can't believe that people like LIs more than phasing being added to the game because there's so much that did to the game, and the mounted combat as well. While it might get old after a while, just the system itself has not been done in any other game.
I think the
And-
chat room wants to mutiny us and.
It does.
Start
Chat room's
teaching
saying that they
LIs.
demand LIs. They voted LIs. Chat room apparently likes LIs. Okay.
If you guys
I'm
should
off
make your own
words.
LI players news show.
When did they actually introduce phasing?
That was with
with,
Isengard.
Volume 3, the beginning of it was, because
Mhm.
they used it in the first couple of books, but it was really in Rise of Isengard that they kicked off.
Okay.
And that's when there's that one village where there's like the orc standing in front of the door or whatever. And they
that's
use
Goldtrev, yeah.
Yeah, they use phasing for that. So yeah, they've really, especially with Helm's Deep, took it to a whole nother level. And I really hope that they continue to use it a lot moving forward. Because so far it seems like they only use it in like one town and that's kind of it. I want to see like an entire zone be phased. That'd be pretty cool.
An entire zone would be tough to phase, wouldn't it?
They're getting
Probably.
better at it, though, so...
It'd probably be pretty tough,
Yeah,
but
it
I mean,
still creates invisible things and stuff like that, which is the
Zinger was saying that if we can't open tapping and auto looting as a system, then that's his vote.
I forgot about open tapping. Oh well.
They kind of merged together too, since they both came with the same.
Mhm.
Yeah, that is a really good
Expansion.
improvement to the game.
Yeah, it was.
That is one I really did like. Yeah.
Totally forgot about that one. Oh well. That
You're a bad
allies probably would have still
podcaster.
beat it, so oh well. This way we don't know. It's security.
all right. Then let's go on then to Scouts Honor Part 1, A Burglar's Guide to the Quiet Knife. And Sithrith, could you talk about this?
Why do I always get tasked with talking about these articles I haven't read?
I can take it if you want,
I didn't
Sithrith.
read this because I don't have a burglar, and honestly, I don't have interest in a burglar. I apologize to Kaylee, but
This
This did not spark your interest?
No.
Well,
How did you play a burglar?
I can take this if you guys want. This was actually by far our most popular article we've had in a while. and it's because it was a really, really well done guide on the burglar, and it also explains why it's referred to as the Scout by Carline. So there's all sorts of great stuff about this. It goes through the quiet knife and all the different skills there, and they have images of every single one with little descriptions about every single skill, some more detailed than others depending on how important the skill is. And there's also all sorts of LI notes and various things like that. And this is only part 1 of the guide because it's only going through the quiet knife line. I'm guessing that there's still going to be at least 2 more going through the other lines as well. So I'm very excited for this. And if you know a class very well and you want to write a guide for it, feel free to write into LOTRO Players. We'd love to feature your class guides on our site. That's something that we have wanted to do for a while, but just haven't had enough people interested on our site to do it. So Itakles and some other people were talking about maybe starting up some guides as well. So if you're interested in that, feel free to send an email to contact@lotroplayers.com with your guide and get featured on the site.
All right. Now, do these quiet knife burglars go after zebra cats?
I don't know, but that was a good segue if they do. There's a
Pine
big
Leaf is
if
such
there
a
though,
pro.
Pine Leaf.
Such
Yes.
a pro, Piney.
Our last episode of LOTRO Players Adventures, episode 33.
Well, not our last, our most recent. Well.
Yes, okay, most recent. Yes, sorry, not that. It was titled Zebra Cats, meaning, of course, our old
zebra
friend
cats.
Sabertooths. Yes.
Depending
Or
on
zebra
where you're
cats
from, yeah.
if you are from Wales.
So yeah, we had a lot of fun going through some of the Road to Erebor raids.
Your definition of fun is a little off, Andy.
Yeah, I don't know if that's.
At the very least, our
ideas.
audience had fun watching us suffer. One of the two happened, so.
Now that maybe
Yeah,
is
that's
what
more.
happened. That's more accurate.
Alright, but anyway, it's a good episode, so I recommend, especially if you
Alright.
haven't done the raids.
I
Go ahead
cannot
and check it
hear
out.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fellows,
yeah.
can you mute your mic, please? Thanks. Alright, so yeah, it's a really good episode that goes through the different raids, especially if you haven't ever seen the raids. I'd recommend watching this episode.
Alright, somebody seriously needs to do this.
It sounds like the Langoliers are coming.
Someone will have to explain that to me at some point.
It just got awkward in here. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Very well. We shall.
Speaking of awkward transitions,
Yes. Have you have you finished with zebra cats? Since I had trouble hearing that last.
Yep, I have. Let's continue on to
Very
Forgotten.
well. Let's go into the fashion maven, and I know Citrus read this article.
I need to take myself off mute. That was awesome. Yes, I I definitely read this article, and I commented on the article also. Basically, the article is about the Fashion Maven, which was a kind of event person thing that Turbine would sometimes happen. Basically, they'd be like, "Hey, the Fashion Maven is going to be out and about on the servers. If the Fashion Maven sees you and thinks you're fashionable or whatever, you will get a title. You can get the fashionable, the unfashionable, or the eyesore based on what you looked like." There's a lot of contention around the Fashion Maven, and they haven't done the Fashion Maven in quite a few years, possibly because of the contention. Basically, a lot of the problems was that it was such a vague event. It was like the Fashion Maven was basically a single GM or developer. It was never really clear. That would go around to the servers on a given weekend and go to populated areas and pick people. The problem was people didn't know where. It could be Breland, it could be Rivendell, it could be Galtrev, it could be 21st Hall. It was never like specifically said go to this location. It could be any time of the day. It could be when you're asleep that the person ends up coming to your server. I know many people who spent hours and hours and hours standing in populated areas during these Fashion Maven events, waiting and waiting and waiting for the Fashion Maven to appear, and never found them.
I
So
thought the Fashion Maven was always invisible anyway.
some people saw a GM or claim to have seen a GM during these events.
Like they saw Bigfoot or something like that?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, it's such like this event has kind of grown to weird and epic urban legend kind of proportions. So
Yeah.
it's hard to just be sure what has actually happened, if people have actually seen the GM or if they just got the title in the mail, because there's so many different conflicting accounts.
Is that what the horseshoes
It's-
for?
Oh gosh,
It is
that's
now.
another thing.
It is now. That's right. Well played.
Thank you, Drac.
Yes. So people got I know a lot of people got very grumpy about the Fashion Maven event because there's no clear-cut way to know when you can get the title. Like, I know there's rare titles for doing certain things in instances. There's rare titles for like going and meeting a turbine employee and getting like the well met title. But like that's like, if you get if like you go to PAX and they're there, you can get the title. Whereas like this, it's like I may or may not see a GM, or it might be invisible, and it might just happen while I'm asleep anyways, because it's impossible to tell because this GM has to go to 29 different servers, and you don't know how long they're going to be on a server at a given time anyway, and if there's like a limit on how many titles they can give out per server. No answers. When I was on the player council, I actually specifically asked about this, and Sapiens never responded, so we still don't know.
Don't you think, though, that the game needs some of these mysterious, things that are just almost unobtainable to keep them special?
Yeah, it's almost kind of
no.
like I kind of do.
I mean,
Well, that was direct.
Trust me. I mean, I'm taking a complete completionist route, but I realize that there's going to be a laundry list of things that I'm never even going to try to attempt or get.
I kind of do, just because that's kind of like Tolkien, where there's a little bit of mystery about stuff. Now, stuff like the horseshoe is very forced and not at all like Tolkien, but it's nice to have like some urban legend type stuff or
I
online
don't know, I
legend
think
type stuff.
For me personally,
Go ahead.
For me personally, the most frustrating thing in the game is like not having a clear-cut way of getting something, or like being like, oh, it's a mystery. Like, no, just I want to know how I can get it, even if I know it's something I can't personally do. Like, knowing that there is a way to get it, like Hobnanigans. It's like, I know I'm never gonna get those chicken pets because it's just obnoxious, and I'm not gonna do it. But like, I know that there is a way for me to do it. If I really applied myself, I could get it. But like with this, it's like you could apply yourself. People applied themselves for hours trying to get this title, and they didn't, just because it's sheer luck, chance, whatever.
I think with these sort of mystery things, they can be good. It's just you have to sort of balance between the mystery aspect and then trying not to cheese players off too much with having that sort of random, are you going to get this or not type of thing. Obviously, the Maven seemed to eventually become too much the one way, and people didn't like it as a result.
Yeah, and also Clover left, so.
Well, yes, that's.
Well, I don't think Clover was the person, because the Fashion Maven did come out after Clover left, at least once.
Maybe
So
it used to be Clover, and then the new person just kind of tried to start it, but didn't. I don't know.
I don't know. It's weird. I know Deviled Egg is in charge of cosmetics now, or at least was as of like a few months ago.
She's been in charge of a lot of things.
Yeah.
As a lawmaster, I can say things on that, but I won't.
You're a master on lore. All right. Anything else about the Fashion Maven? Then our highlight this week is I Am Warden.
It's not
That
quite
was
I Am Group, is it?
semi-terrifying.
Like I've said before, every now and then I shake in my boots because Pine Leaf can be pretty terrifying. So, Yes, Pineleaf. This week, the video highlight of the week was The Lord of the Rings Online I Am Warden. And this is possibly one of the most epic trailers of class that you will see ever. It's incredible, and especially if you're a fan of the
Even better
Warden.
than the Yarning trailer?
We haven't seen the Beorning trailer yet, Pineleaf. We don't know yet. They could go all out with that, and that could, trump that. But as of right now, at the current state of the game, this does seem to be an amazing trailer. So, especially if you're a Warden
Okay.
fan, I recommend checking this out.
I think the
It's
people
more
who
for
made this
basic
video
class.
also. Yes. I think the people who made this video also made an I Am Lore Master video, if I
Yes,
remember
and a
correctly.
Hunter one, and those are coming up later in the highlights. But you can check out Evan Artworks' YouTube channel if you want to see those, because those are really epic trailers as well.
All right, very well. Then we'll head into LOTRO outfits, and I know Sithrit knows about this one.
Yeah. This this outfit is for my lore master because she is now entering Moria. I hit 100 episodes on my lore master series,
Nice.
and that was just in time to start Moria. So I made a Moria outfit. It's all blacks and dark grays, and also kind of muted purples and golds because the blacks and the grays are like the shadows, and it's dark because it's Moria, and then the purples and the golds are reminiscent of the Durin banners, the Longbeard Durin banners everywhere in Moria, and the purple crystals, and just generally all the gold that's in Moria. So yeah, that's that outfit.
All right. Then we'll head on to Brax's pick of the week, but he's not. Oh, that's right. DJ, did you have a pick for this week?
Little blindsided. Apparently, there's an article out here called "A Wizard for Himself" Part 2. I just now opened up. Let's skim. Let's see. Last minute thing here. Something about a gray arrival, the White Council.
All right. That's actually our news.
I'll just read the first line. It says, "This week we'll continue our series on the White Wizard and one of the greatest villains of Middle Earth." So I'm assuming this is all about wizardry.
Yes, and yeah. So
There's some pictures. It looks good. I'll give it an A.
Yes, and that has been one of our weekly articles for lore by Iogro, and they always do a great job covering the lore, and always have fantastic concept arts, paintings, and stuff like that of various points in the lore. And so yeah, this is actually going behind actually the White Wizard. So pretty cool lore, and it looks like that there's going to be several more of Wizard lore episodes.
Yes. So in this case, so we all know that he bids 5.
Yes, of course.
Spoiler
Of
alert,
course.
finally. Spoiler alert.
All right.
Gonna have to read this later.
Very well. Let's go into donations. Let's give a big thanks to Brittany for her $10 or more donation to LOTRO players. I love listening to the podcast whilst playing LOTRO. Thank you for the hours of enjoyment. Cheers!
And cheers to you, Brittany. Thank you so much for donating.
And also a big thanks to Lauren and Everwolf for their $10 or more donation to LOTRO players.
Yeah, thank you
And
guys
if
so
you would-
much.
And if you would like to help support LOTRO players, you can simply go to the donation page where you can help support the podcast of LOTRO players and also help support the site. We have $5 and $10 mentions where you can donate and get a mention on one or all of our active podcasts for an episode, depending on the amount. For $5, you get a mention on the podcast of your choice. For $10 or more, you get a mention on all of our active podcasts. As for feedback, Barnabas has given us a 5-star review on iTunes. A great show, never miss it. Information news is given in a very accessible way. Keeps you up to date on what's going on and plenty of laughs to boot. And we also have some comments. First, we have Sarithi's Bucamp, who left a comment on the Bjorning image article, and Etheros.
Sure. Let me unmute myself then. Too tall to be a dwarf, but too thick to be a man. Just highlights how Bjornings really should be a race and not a class. A race with only one possible class, but still a race.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Although
Indeed.
they might end up doing it like that. Never know. Because I'm not sure if, like, the way they're actually going to put it in the character creation, whether you... Because you are actually asked to select your race.
They've
first,
actually
I
stated that
think.
it
Didn't they
is going to
say-
be. They stated it's going to be a race and a class, and that was actually reconfirmed in the Corey Olson talk that they had with the
Oh,
Tolkien
okay.
professor
I
and
must have missed that one.
Chris Pearson. Yeah,
'Cause I
they
was gonna
actually
say, last
did.
I heard.
Yeah, Chris
They said it
Pearson
was
did say that it is going to be a race and a class. So
Okay.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Well,
Well,
there you
if they're
go.
going to have their own starter experience, I guess that makes sense. Since
Mhm.
that's divided by
Mm,
It's going to be
race.
it's going to be a crace.
A crace.
race.
Race.
and
yes.
hopefully not a curse.
It's going to be a hobby.
The Beorning hobby. There you go.
Gosh.
All right. And we also have an email from Elindomir. Elindomir? I think you mean Kane. Kane from Elindomir, since Elindomir is the name of a server.
Probably.
Yes. All right, yes. Kane from Elindomir has sent us an email, and Dang, you could read it.
Oh, well, thank you, Pineleaf, for, just passing that on. Um, so, I have been a lifetime subscriber since launch and played in the beta. However, I rushed Cap with my Guardian, maxed weaponsmithing, and then, feeling incredibly burnt out, a mere couple months after the fact, I have only come back off and on since recently I got the bug again, and have heard about plugins, something I have never messed with before, and I am not sure where to begin. Most lists recommend plugins are several years old, and the LOTRO Academy podcast on the subject is from 2011. It all seems a little complex, and I don't want to go off of these lists and find myself having issues because the plugins are outdated, etc. Long story short, what plugins would you guys recommend in 2014? And are any of the Warden plugins worthwhile? I have been finding the class a lot of fun to play, and it has been my main character to log in with of late. Kane, Dwarf Guardian, from Elindomir.
Titan Bar.
Indeed,
Yeah,
Titan Bar is a
Titan
good one.
Well, Titan
And
Bar's
buff
a
bars.
good one, but it has not been updated recently. So there's a
Um,
couple of elements of it. The things like the reputation elements is starting to get outdated since
Oh,
it
yeah.
doesn't include the most recent factions.
I may just use it for the currency.
Yeah, the currency
Yeah, I use it
stuff.
for the
Yeah,
currency.
that's all still works. In fact, I use Titan Bar myself.
That and being able to see when the time of day changes is just nice.
Yeah, I use that time of day thing like religiously for my outfit videos because if I need to record something at a certain time of day, I need to know when it's how much longer I have to wait till
Okay,
it's gonna be.
All right, I haven't used that. Let's see. Now, one of the things that I use all the time is buff bars, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the one.
That's a good one too.
Buff bars and Titan bar are the two biggest items I use. I use something called C time, but I only use that because I wanted the time to the seconds, and Titan bar only gives it to the minute. For most people, you probably use the clock that's on Titan bar and get away with that.
This explains a lot about the countdown timer on Mixler.
Pineleaf likes his countdowns. He likes his countdowns.
Yes. And those, let's see, on my minstrel for the band, well, I know that doesn't help Wardens much, but when I'm doing bands, of course, there's a plugin called Songbook that I use, and probably most serious LOTRO musicians use that. And let's see. And while not technically a plugin, I use the large preview pane for the cosmetics.
Yep, I
I've
recommend that.
got the room, the dressing room. Yes, the large dressing room. I use that because, well, it's a lot larger because otherwise you have this little tiny little window in which you're looking at things. So those are the ones that I can think of off the top of my head. As for Warden plugins, I do not use any at this time. I don't know. I don't know. I think I might have tried one briefly or something like that, but I've just never got into using any Ward plugins. I just use the stuff that Turbine provides.
All right.
Now,
Yeah, I just rolled an alt warden this week, and this is the first time I've ever played one. And it to me it seems like the gambit panel seems pretty, easy to pick up, and it's so far it seems to do the job well. So
And Zinger from the chat does mention the plugin compendium, which is very helpful in setting up plugins. So I would recommend that as well.
all right. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that plugin compendium. I've not really used that one, so I just basically use the Turbine Manager, and that's it.
That's pretty good, yeah. But yeah, it just gives you
But
options.
I think that the compendium. I think the compendium might be something that handles it on the DOS end, isn't it, rather than a plugin itself?
Yeah, I believe so. One thing I would recommend is, don't be afraid. You're not going to break the game. Try out different plugins and see what you like. There's a few sites that are good for helping out, find out plugins. I don't remember them off the top of my head, but they are mentioned in the LOTRO Academy episode. So.
Yeah. Now oh yes, there's also one, the daily tasks helper, which I use all the time, in which I am able to go and grab the information as to what items am I holding pertain to the nearest task board or to some other task board I could ask, but I'm usually using it to go with whatever's the nearest one. That way I know what tasks I have available, what I could turn in, then I could just, with that information, I go to the task board and handle all that stuff and not worry about it, since I never pick up a task quest until I'm ready to turn it in.
good suggestion.
All right. Anyone else have any other plugins?
I think we're good.
Very well. Then we'll go on to an origin story from Barnabas.
Actually, I think we have another email, Pineleaf.
Oh.
We actually had 3 emails this week.
By Kazrin.
Oh, Catherine, let's see. Okay, I guess I had missed that. All right. Catherine wrote us an email. Hi, LOTRO players. I just wanted to let you know how much I appreciate the show. I love Mystery. I hope Mystery is feeling better. Your discussion about lore versus turbine creation was very interesting. Thank you for a great show. Catherine of Tolkien. Catherine, a.k.a. Tolkien.
We broke Pineleaf.
We did. We broke Pineleaf. That's what happened.
Now we can go into Barnabas's origin story.
Pineleaf can only process 2 emails in a single episode. This is proof that he can't handle 3. But yeah, it's cool. We had 3 emails this week. We've never had that before. Thank you guys so much for writing
in. Very well. Who would like to volunteer and read this week's origin story?
I think Brax should read it since it's about Brax. And since Brax isn't here, I think the alternative version of Brax should read it.
Hayes the new guy, huh?
He's the new guy, right?
I don't know if I'm up for singing this, but I will gladly read it if you would like. Barnabas sent in his origin story for Brax. He said, "Hello, LOTRO players. I have a song parody for Brax. It is sung to Guns N' Roses' Welcome to the Jungle. It must be sung in an Axl Rose voice." Now, being a Cincinnatian, we got the Bengals, so I hear the song quite a lot. Do you seriously want me to sing this?
You don't have to sing it.
Okay.
I'm not
Barnabas
gonna
in
sing
chat
it.
says
So
sing it.
It's odd that I'm okay standing in front of a crowd of 1,000 people and sing hip hop music, but for some reason it just gives me anxiety trying to think about singing Guns N' Roses. It's welcome to the Braxwood. He plays LOTRO games. He's got every plank you want. Pineleaf doesn't even know his name. He's the hunter that can find whatever you may need. If you got the Braxbucks, buddy, he can cure your disease. It's in the in the Braxwood. Welcome to the Braxwood. Watch it bring you to your trees. I got a crit and get extra bleed. Welcome to the Braxwood. He'll be late today. If you're an orc, you're gonna bleed, but that's the price you pay. And you're a very deadly troll that's very hard to kill. You could take the big crits but you won't get them for free in the Braxwood. Welcome to the Braxwood. Feel my extra life dream. I want to hear your bowstring scream. Hey, I almost got that wrong. Welcome to the Braxwood. It gets better here every day. You'll learn to live like a wolf in the Braxwood where we play. If you got a hunger for what you see, you'll take it eventually. You could have any table you want, but you better not take it from me.
Which that is an awesome line.
that is an awesome.
Yeah, and when you're in the clan, you never ever want to leave. Yeah. Oh my God, this keeps going. He did every lyric for this.
He did, yeah.
This must have taken a long time. You'll know where you are. You're in the Braxwood Oakery. Is that Oakery?
Orky.
Orky. Okay. You're gonna die in the Braxwood. Welcome to the Braxwood. Watch it bring you to your trees. In the Braxwood. Welcome to the Braxwood. Feel my extra life dream. In the Braxwood. Welcome to the Braxwood. Watch it bring you to your trees. In the Braxwood. Welcome to the Braxwood. Watch it chop you down. Watch it chop you to your. It's gonna cut you down. Ha! Guitar wang.
Oh.
This needs to be a video format.
So now if you want to sing it.
It's okay. It's hard to sing this without the music playing. So
That is true.
I challenge you guys this. If someone could send me a LOTRO ABC of them playing the song, I'll mix in the audio and I'll send it back and you can play it next week.
Oh wow.
But,
Wow. All right, Lillicate, you heard him.
Maybe I could fire up my alt Braxwood and actually record some in-game footage of him, chopping trees and riding on horses and stuff. But yes, people in
I'll
chat are
secretly
saying,
follow him
you're
around
singing
on
it in your head, and
Wicola.
I am. So
All right, very well. Thank you. And thank you for the origin story, and thank you for providing us with your rendition of it. If you wish to contact us, you could email us at podcast@lotroplayers.com, and you can also follow us at Twitter. The Players Alliance at Players Ally, Lotro Players at Lotro Players, Andang at PVMP_Andang, Braxwolf at Braxwolf, Sithrith at Sithrith, Draculetta at Draculetta_72, Etheros at Etheros, Lily Kate at Lily Kate Buggins, Mystery at Mystery XOX, Pineleaf at Pineleaf Needles, and the alternate Braxwolf at DJ Pimp Daddy. The Players Alliance has 2 live shows on Mondays at 8:30 p.m. United States Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News, and on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. United States Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News. And you can join us for our live shows at lotroplayers.com/live. And you can also join us on Langeville for Lotro Players Adventures every Saturday at 5 p.m. United States Eastern Time, also known as server time. Thank you everyone for listening, and that's all for tonight. And this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.